No, I understand. I
I
understand
think
where
it's
you
almost
are.
along the
I
line.
understand what you're talking about, right? United fans have been starved of victory. So
One question now: would you be satisfied as Manchester United fan if Carey was given a 5-year contract to be Manchester United? I
yes,
want you to be able to.
yes, I'll be satisfied.
One thing with United fans is they have this complex. One compete with Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea is now. If Chelsea is above us,
The winning DNA.
no, it's not a matter of
But Manchester United is the biggest.
we are not they have the biggest fan base.
No, they are the biggest club in
Manchester United,
Of course,
under the Catholic Church in terms of fan base.
perfect.
It's a very big.
That's a fact. They'll not be there talk down on United based on their fan base or as a big. United has always been a big club.
Say the biggest is not the big.
It
When you say the big is like your company. United is.
I'm not comparing
In England, they are the biggest club in
That's
England.
the fact.
So that's why staying out of the Champions League and performing.
They have been out of the Champions League, but
UEFA,
you have out of European competition. Last year we thought they could get something, but Tottenham had to do what they did.
where's Tottenham now?
No, they are relegated. Let's put that aside. Let's
We'll be looking at games for this past week or this weekend. First off, we'll look at North London derby we had on Saturday. That was yesterday. Manchester United. Sorry, not the North London derby. Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
yes.
So, what do you guys think about the game?
I'll let the Chelsea fan talk first because I know he has a lot. He has a lot to say. I know everyone still remembers the score, and it was a top 4 derby. So whoever lost that game would have kind of jeopardized their chances of being in the top 4. United is already in the top 4 and they're in the 3rd position now. And since Michael Carrick came in, you can tell the form United has developed a new form. So I think the victory yesterday over Chelsea basically sealed the top 4 for Manchester United.
Okay. So that means going 10 points ahead of Chelsea in 6th place. You think United is assured of making it to the Champions League?
Yes, I can guarantee that because, I mean, this year the Premier League is going to have 4 teams in the Champions League. 5, sorry, instead of 4. 5 teams in the Champions League. So Chelsea being at the 6th position and United being at the 3rd position with a difference of 10 points with 5 games left. United will basically have to lose all their games for Chelsea to stand a chance of getting in. So I think they'll be fighting for the 5th position with the Liverpool, not even United. So
Yeah.
we're far ahead of Chelsea.
If I can say something, the reality is Manchester United this season weren't at the point of can we be 3rd or can we qualify for the Champions League. At some point when Carrick came in, the distinction was clear that United will make it maybe in the 3rd position. But then the key question we have to ask ourselves is, are you satisfied with what Michael Carrick has done so far? You know, you need to ask yourself, yes, are you satisfied with what Michael Carrick has done so far? Because people say Carrick has really performed good. People say Carrick is doing things well. I'm thinking maybe because you guys have not just been, the success you've had in the years gone by. Maybe you're just being comfortable with something really mediocre. I don't see Carrick doing something.
No, I understand.
I think it's almost along the
I
line.
understand what you're talking about, right? United fans have been starved of victory so long that the little victory that we have, we want to enjoy the moment while it lasts. We know. I agree with you. Carrick is not I don't think Carrick has that qualification to lead a team like Manchester United for the long term. But in the short term, Carrick knows the team very well. He's been in United for so long.
I can give you so many short-term projects that United have done because United brought in the likes of Van Gaal. It was a short-term project. They brought in Ralph Rangnick, short-term project.
Let's talk about yesterday's game. We'll get to the managerial aspect of it later.
Yes, but
what I'm trying to say in is, if we ask one question now, would you be satisfied as a Manchester United fan if Carrick was given a 5-year contract to lead Manchester United?
Yes.
I want you to be able to say
yes, I'll be satisfied. Okay. You know why? Because it's the whole world is bored of not seeing Manchester United in the Champions League. So anybody that gets Manchester United in the Champions League now would at least get a chance to prove their worth. So you rightly mentioned, we've tried all the most experienced coaches in the world. We've tried Mourinho, we've tried Van Gaal, we've even tried the experience of bringing somebody that had no experience like a Soldier. Soldier didn't have enough experience to carry Manchester United. So we've tried it all. Anybody that can keep United in the top 4 and take us in the Champions League to the point where we can say we're title contenders, I'm happy with that for now. I know Arsenal used to be there, used to be there, and they're still there struggling to win the title.
One thing with United fans is they have this complex. They want to compete with Chelsea at all costs. Chelsea is like, if Chelsea is above us,
that's the winning DNA.
No, it's not a matter of, but Manchester United is the biggest. We are not the biggest. We have the biggest fan base. No, they are the biggest club.
Manchester United, of course, under the Catholic Church in terms of fan base.
Perfect. That's a fact. The more they do talk down on United based on their fan base, or has a big United has always been a big club.
I'm saying the biggest is not a big. When you say the big is like your United is.
I'm not comparing.
In England, they are the biggest club in England.
That's the fact.
So that's why staying out of the Champions League and my performance.
They have been out of the Champions League for UEFA out of European competition. Last year we thought they could get something, but Tottenham had to do what they did.
Where's Tottenham now?
No, they are relegating. let's get that aside. Let's focus on yesterday's game.
Okay, and you mentioned Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You remember in his first season at Manchester United, he actually did quite a good job.
He went on 9 games,
unbeaten run. Yeah. So in his second season, that's when he flopped. So are you still banking on Michael Carrick? Can he still replicate what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did?
I'm going to return your question to you, right?
Yeah.
Which are the best? Which coaches are out there that are? I mean, the coaching field now is very sparsy. There are not many names out there that can take on the United job. We're looking at Enrique. We are looking at Zidane is out of the game. He took himself out of the game already. I guess he's waiting for some other French job.
Yeah, after the World Cup, he'll be the French manager. Has played the sources out there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So while we're waiting for a big name to that can carry a team of Manchester United's caliber, we are going to go with Carrick. I think the board is going to keep Carrick because what he has done. After what I've even forgotten his name, Amorim did for her. So they had to clear. I was a big fan of Amorim too when he came.
That guy's so bad. This guy's so hard on Amorim. Did Ten Hag do good?
No, Ten Hag didn't do very well. But Ten Hag was more promised than he delivered. He promised more than he delivered.
Yeah.
So Carrick is a very cool guy. He doesn't talk much about what
that's something more Ten Hag.
He just goes out there and gets the job done.
I just honestly feel that. The Samuel Carrick is going to come to. If you look at the game tactically, you understand. If you look at the game tactically, I would be happy as a United fan from where we were to come to what he has done so far. Yeah. But what I think, logically speaking, is that when we look at the tactics, at times he stumbles across the line, in his victories and said, like, imagine United didn't play for about 20-something days, and the first time United actually came to the pitch, they were defeated, When I looked at that, if at this point in time we're playing one game in almost like 3 weeks.
One game in the month.
When you start playing the Champions League, when you start playing
Sunderland,
when you play the Champions League, and then next week you need to travel to the likes of Sunderland, you need to travel to Newcastle.
I think you guys are really trying to avoid to talk about the game.
We're not avoiding it.
That was a tactical masterpiece. That was a tactical masterpiece from Carrick. If you saw how the game was played yesterday, Carrick was there to get the 3 points. Chelsea was trying to develop a good game.
I want to see what
the Champions League
from Carrick. Was that something about United yesterday?
Oh my God! I'm sure you know. Oh yeah, you watched the match.
I watched the match.
As a Chelsea fan, you must have used,
I watched the match. We dominated the whole game. United had a chance. They took a chance.
Come on. It's not about who dominates. I know Chelsea.
They took a chance. They got the 3 points. That's a fact. We're happy we got that.
And then if you look that's not what we look at the performance of Chelsea in the past while. Chelsea have been very bad. They haven't won in the past 8. So it's really
Chelsea as of now. We have a defensive problem and we have a strike. We have a problem at up front. We don't. When João Pedro is out of play, we are doomed. Nobody can score. Look at Liam Delap. He played the whole 90 minutes without giving a shot on target. That's someone I'm calling a striker for Chelsea. a club of that caliber. Chelsea is not a club. We are not where we are supposed to be. We know our problems.
I want you to talk about your manager. Stop saying you're not where you're supposed to be.
The reason is you have a manager. You know what the player has a manager.
But then Clay Lake is not good. It's not from the manager. If you want to look at, since Chelsea has spent above, plus of $1 billion.
You don't have a manager.
Chelsea has spent above of billion pounds, $1 billion, and
Chelsea, in terms of money,
please, in terms of Chelsea, we are world champions. We are world champions. We understand that we world champions in 4 years. You have to deal with that.
Yeah, but you spend
at this point in time, the very
out of the champions.
No, don't talk about Chelsea as if Chelsea is
the financial fair play rules are going to kick in very soon, because if Chelsea cannot, let me tell you what is going to happen to you very soon.
I know what is going to happen.
If Chelsea cannot qualify for the Champions League, if they cannot play any European competition next season, with the amount of money Chelsea has spent, and the contracts they are tying players to 8 years, they will have to start letting some of those players go without the possibility of signing. So when you look at, I don't know what Enzo Maresca did wrong.
Maresca wasn't signed because
Liam Mousinho for me is not
a coach.
He's not a good.
That's why we said let's talk about
a good coach.
So Liam Mousinho is no coach.
Personally, I think Chelsea is in deep issues, and they need to start by identifying that they don't have
any coach that cannot beat United at Old Trafford with 4 of our starting defenders out of the game is no coach for Chelsea. We didn't have Harry Maguire. Our defensive line, everybody was injured. So we put up Mazzarri and a 18-year-old at the back in the defense. Then you
good at the back.
Come on.
Okay, let's pause for a second. I think a lot of the blame is going on Rosenau, which I think is true, but we have to also look at the players too.
The players are not giving in.
Players like Palmer have been out of form for maybe since January.
Yeah.
Maybe all season.
Since we came
Palmer
back
has been out of form. So we have to look at people like Caicedo. Recently, he's not really been at his top level. Yeah. So you can't just say Rosenau is the only, and Enzo Fernandez has been on and off too. So you can't just put all the blame on the coach. The players too have been out of form.
Yeah, Chelsea, we have a defense issue that we've been singing that since last season. We need a commanding defender. We thought Levico would fit in there. He got injured and has been out of play since over 6 months now. We've been managing Fofana, we've been managing Shaloba. We have this old Nigerian guy, Tosin. This time he plays, we are doomed because we.
I don't want to. No, that's something about football. That's something about fans like. So let me talk. That's something about fans. When the player is not performing, now you start going down this Nigerian. It's not. I don't want you to get the wrong message out there.
Nigerian.
Yes, he's Nigerian. He played with
Eagles fan.
And it's just like Eagles fan. It's not like I support Nigeria.
Okay, I see.
Nigeria, I'm talking about. No, I support Nigeria.
I just wanted us to be able to.
I want us to know that person is a Nigerian.
Okay.
It's not like I'm talking about.
Right on.
We had a defense. We still have that problem. We have a defense issue in Chelsea. Yeah. We need to get a commanding defender. The likes of John Terry, after those guys left, we haven't had their replacement. I can say we have a replacement for Aspilicueta. We can see what Malo Gusto or Rhys James are doing at the right corner. We can see what Cucurella is doing over there. So we are not missing Ashley Cole, but we're missing that John Terry. We're missing that Cahill commanding defense there at the back. We need a central defender that can command. Let's not go to the goalkeeper because we just don't. Sanchez is not.
But have you lost hope, or do you think Chelsea can still find a way into the top 4 this season?
No, we will make the Champions League. That's a fact.
How?
We can come out fit. We can come out full.
We can.
We will always.
It's not impossible, but I just think
we will make the Champions League.
It's not impossible, but I think with the recent form,
a spirit of a good fan, yeah.
With the recent form of Chelsea, I
just use that. I want to wake up tomorrow to a message that Liam Mousinho has resigned. I don't want them to sack him. I want him to resign.
Okay.
I just want Liam Mousinho to leave that club because he's not doing us any good. Okay. And then at the midfield, you just mentioned Caicedo has been out of. Let me not say he has been out of form. He has not been at his best.
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez, with already what he has in mind, Enzo Fernandez wants to leave Chelsea. From his interviews, you say that that's somebody that doesn't want to play for Chelsea anymore. So he's been he's giving him 60% of his It's not
No,
that. It's not that Enzo Fernandez will bought.
spending so much money on talent and expecting them to come up with something. That's not all it takes to win the Premier League.
What we went for, the Enzo Fernandez we went for, is not the Enzo Fernandez that we are seeing in Chelsea.
What happened?
I can't say for sure what happened, but Enzo Fernandez is not the person
Yeah,
we went for.
I think what
No,
Chelsea.
but the reality, what I'll say is, let me just come in here. What I'll say is, at times, big players, because Enzo Fernandez is a good player, they look at the surroundings. They look at
Is he a good player or a big player?
He's a good player and he's a big player.
No, he's not a big player.
No,
I won't consider him a big player.
let me explain
He's not a
something.
big player.
Let me explain something. When you look at the way he plays, right, you see that he has that capability of.
He has the
He
potential.
has the potential of being a big player.
But then what I want to put in this case is they look and they observe, they see what is happening around.
Mm-hmm.
And when they look at the way Chelsea is disfigured now from top to the bottom, they're observing, as a footballer, you have like good 10 years to give out there.
Definitely.
So when the player is looking at it and like, I'm in Chelsea now, what is the project? This project was supposed to be like an 8-year, 10-year project. But when I look at it from where we stand, we're just limping through things, If Real Madrid is seeing something behind, if maybe even Barcelona is seeing something, I'm not saying that this is the reason, but players observe. And people start going through their agents, so they want to put this thing there. So I think for me, they are just fed up with the
The
project.
mistake for Chelsea has been done. You should have stopped with the coach that made you world champions. You should have done everything you could to keep the coach. That Chelsea has this DNA of firing very good coaches and hiring. No, understand. If a coach wants to leave, I'm sure you haven't met. If a coach resigns, you probably haven't met a certain condition.
If you're not delivering, you have to let go.
It's not about not delivering. He was delivering. Chelsea should have done everything they could to keep a good coach, at least for 5 years. Chelsea has never done that in the past. I don't remember the last time Chelsea kept a coach for 5 years. How do you do that and expect to be at the top? Arsenal was patient with Arteta, and today it's kind of beginning to.
It's not yet delivered.
Got to a point where Arsenal have become very close to firing. Very close to firing Arteta, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Very close to firing, but for some reason they stuck with him, and he's beginning to deliver. He hasn't won the league yet, but staying close to the top is still a good thing.
Being comfortable being second. It's okay for Arsenal fans to say.
It's better than missing out on the Champions League.
We are not missing out on the Champions League. So we are not missing out on the Champions League.
I think we have to talk about because we're talking about Chelsea match. Those are. At this point in time, let's talk about the title. We have to talk about the title.
Let's talk about the title. Let's talk about the game that was played today. We had Arsenal versus Manchester City. And the Gunners prove once again why everyone is referring to them as bottlers. So, you guys should talk a little bit on that game.
Okay, I think I would like to really come in here and say there's one thing about Arsenal today. When coming for us to sit and tell you and have this podcast, I'm not angry, I'm not pissed, because the worst thing I want to see from my team is not play good and lose. You understand? Yeah. Today, I could look at what Arteta was trying to do and see the plan. Yes, where the changes good. I wish we would have done something better, because Odegaard hasn't played in a while, maybe about 2 weeks, and Eze was the one doing maybe like the forward. Eze was really probing a lot with the shots from distance and all of that. If I were Arteta, I would probably take Odegaard out and put Eze and try to but then once Odegaard returns to Arsenal, people don't value Odegaard, but they press. If you understand football and you look at the way Odegaard press from before. So today, yes, it's a bitter pill to swallow looking at where we were, because we had the league. If we were just a little bit, steadfast, this league would have been done.
Yeah.
So we have ourselves to blame, but then would I knock the players who are trying to go for something really beautiful and something great? No, I would like to go with the words of our manager, who says we are feeling the fire. If Arsenal gets one of the major trophies, even the Champions League, the Premier League, it will be good, because we're getting
the quadruple conversation. We should cancel it.
It had already been cancelled.
What about a double?
We are still fighting for two things, so you cannot, on to the point where Arsenal can no longer go forward in any of the titles. I will concede, but at the moment, We are still fighting for the pole. We are still in the pole position. Yeah, we've made it very much difficult. It was in our hands, but now we've shifted the onus to.
I beg to differ with you. It looks like you're kind of settling. You're beginning to defend Arteta here. The game has let me tell you, I watched that game today. I watched the game Arsenal City today. What Arteta did today was not good enough to beat City. Everybody knows that you have to be very tactical to beat Pep Guardiola. You should have taken something from Carrick's playbook. Last time when we beat Manchester, when United beat Manchester, beat City, you have to know how to contain City, keep them in the middle of the pitch, avoid them from going wide, because they have Doku. They have people like Doku, contain them. That's why now you have to be. When I see Arteta trying to go toe to toe with his former boss, that's what we call Pep Guardiola. When you want to go toe to toe with a master at what he's doing, it's very difficult for him to win. Try to contain him. It was all about the 3 points today. I think that's why Arsenal has been bottling it. They usually don't know that at some point you have to play dirty and get exactly what you want. Pick something from Mourinho. When you're chasing a league like this one, there are games where you don't lose. Even if you have to draw the game, you don't lose. Come with the tactic of today would have been close the game, don't lose, and then keep our chances of winning the league. I think as Arteta really failed on that.
I don't want to sit here and sound like Arteta has been doing the most perfect things, or everything Arteta has been doing is good. But then I'll still make you understand. Arsenal have really been bad in the past few weeks, and there was no way, as an Arsenal fan, what I saw against Southampton, what I saw against Bournemouth, what I've been seeing Arsenal playing in the past week, for me, it's even disgusting to watch, let alone the points and all of that. So if you lose the game, I prefer you lose the game trying to win than lose the game trying to hold on to a point, because I like the play of today. It was like,
that's how you end up second.
Then are you trying to justify why you lose the game for today?
No, and City are very, very good all side, and where they are now.
Because I don't see a reason why you should be trying to protect Arteta's image. Because at the beginning of this season,
yes,
one thing we were sure of was that Arsenal
was going to run away with it. They spent so much.
You guys have invested so much in this 2025-2026 season.
But then you have to understand that
you guys have invested a whole lot to come at this stage and start bottling stuff.
And all season they've been bragging about.
You're making the Premier League look like only City can take this. City have been winning this thing back to back. We are cousins in this thing.
No, I'm not.
We are not cousins at losing. When we are in Chelsea,
I don't want to say that I have more experience than Arsenal. But if I could advise Arsenal and Arteta, I'll tell him to treat the next 5 games as a cup.
Yeah.
It's a final.
It's every game as
a final.
Yeah.
We keep saying Arteta. At what point are we going to hold the players?
What does Sky have in the field? That's what Sky has in the field.
No, come on. Let me explain something to you.
Come on, man.
Let me explain something to you.
How better than Gavin?
No, if you watch our play, right? If we have to play long and somebody hold play up and try to link up with the players advancing, Gyökeres cannot do that. But if we play,
why don't you buy Gyökeres then? He has that.
No, but he doesn't know. His first touch is awful. If you observe football very well, if Gyökeres has to get me the goal scorer, if Gyökeres has to do a better job than
If
Gyökeres has to play in behind, he is good because he wants to run to the ball. If you look at the Gyökeres in Sporting, he was moving towards the ball and having clinical shots. But when he has to play with his back and the defender touching Gyökeres cannot. His first touch is awful. So that's why today we played. I can say the best way we played today, as we could have done, is because Havertz was there. And look at the chance. I know that Carlo Havertz is not clinical. I don't want to come here and say Arsenal have been. I just want to say where we are now. I am not where we deserve to be. No, we don't deserve to be here. We don't deserve to be here. We the fans deserve better. But all I'll say is, I'm not in the bandwagon of people saying Arteta should be sacked. I'm never saying Arteta should be sacked. Personally,
Arteta should have a plan A, B, and a C. Arteta doesn't have a plan B, not to talk of a C.
He doesn't have a plan A
A
either.
plan A and plan A and plan A. When it comes down to when it comes down to closing the league, that's why I keep calling my boy Mourinho. I've never been a Chelsea
That's a
fan,
big boy.
but Mourinho is one of those coaches where
That's a big
I think
man.
I'll give you an example. I think at the semi-final against Inter Milan, Mourinho played a lot of dirty tactics. The goal was to win the game. He even played a big striker like a defender. So that's when you know big coaches. They know when they have to deliver. Arteta should have known that with 5 games left, he would have told his players, I don't care what you do.
Contest the
City,
game.
you cannot lose this game, because once you lose this game, the morale is going to play one. It's going to start playing on the morale of the rest of the
I want to
team.
just take like a very small. I want to take a very small example here. Look at these veteran competitions that we play around. You understand? Just imagine the pressure that comes to you individually as a player. I know it's not our profession. You understand? Imagine how your legs are heavy at times. They pass the ball to you, knowing fully well what you can do, but when it comes to that clinch moment, your legs become heavy. You don't know what pass to do. You become confused. Even to your first touch and everything becomes awful. That's what I want to make you guys understand, that these players are professionals. But then they keep on saying that you haven't had the opportunity, you haven't done it. Arsenal just needs to creep whatever they need to use. Everything you're saying now is what I say.
For today's game, you guys needed Gyökeres to do the what Gyökeres was supposed to play that game.
was
This is your 9. That's your striker. That's what you bought him for.
When I look at this season,
Let him play.
Arsenal has played Manchester City, if I'm correct, 3 times.
Yeah.
When I look at the first match they played in the first half of the season,
Mhm.
that was all Arsenal's game. They dominated the game. City was defending for like
City was running
full
behind the ball.
90 minutes
Yeah.
of the game. Now coming back to the Carling Cup final they played, you will notice that Pep actually did some tactical adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
You will notice that the first 4 City players, they did a press where they will pause, they will not press after the ball, but they will just wait for Arsenal to make the first move. And Arsenal could not build the ball from the back to the midfield.
Yes.
So you in turn make them try to
to
play a long ball,
Mm-hmm.
and City will win the long ball. I thought Arteta will learn from that past game, but coming to this game of today, he implemented the same
The
thing,
same strategy.
and
No, I'll not
Arsenal
really-
could not find a way through that same.
No,
system.
I'll not really say that. If you look at the first the game we played in the Carabao Cup finals and the game for today, seriously, if we keep the Arsenal hate on the side, you understand?
Nobody
Now,
hates
let's keep the Arsenal hate on the side, and let's be honest. Today, I'm telling you guys, because I've followed Arsenal for the past.
You don't hate Arsenal.
For the past, honestly speaking, for the past 13, for the past 13 to 14, getting years where I can say that my knowledge of football has been something I can talk about. I have seen how we have gone through stages. I condemn the team when they need to be called out. But if I say today, first, we look at the Carabao Cup, we had an issue with the goalkeeper. Kepa could not withstand that pressure.
He took you guys to the finals, though.
And the finals is something else. You're playing at Wembley, you have a 60 something thousand.
Kepa is not
you know,
focusing on that.
And-
Kepa has won trophies at the.
I understand, but when you look at it, Arsenal are trying to creep along the line. Arteta has been very good for the past 5 years. All he needs to
And
do
he was
is
still good.
he just needs to get this one trophy. I don't know. We're still in the Champions League.
So which one do you think is going to get this year, the Champions League or the Premier League?
The bottlers, they'll come back.
I'll say we can get both. Yeah. Because we are
I
still
like your optimism.
we are 3 points. The Champions League is if you happen to have a good game in a semi, we're just three games away.
Yeah.
We are 3 games away. And looking at Arsenal, we trashed them by Atletico Madrid 4-0.
Definitely, I don't.
It's not going to be the same.
Let me tell you one thing about big coaches who've won the Champions League back to back. Arteta doesn't have that mentality of a cup
Winner.
coach
Of a winner.
So with 3 games left to go, what he did against City today proved that he doesn't have what it takes to go win that Champions League. Because playing against Atletico, I know what my Atletico coach is going to do.
Simeone will pack his
I
butt.
know what Simeone is. He's a Syria Cup winner. He's gonna play dirty if he has to.
Yeah.
Arteta has just plan A. I mentioned that before. He doesn't know when to switch to plan B or when to develop new tactics to overcome the opposing coach. So if Arteta gets past, that's why he's always coming close to to winning trophies but not actually materializing. So
We'll be back here. We'll be back here to talk about it. I'm just very, very confident that
talk about you guys winning a trophy.
I'm saying I'm very confident that Arsenal.
No, I like your optimism. That's the fact. When players
Worst case scenario is my heart of hearts wants the Premier League, but then
you won't get it.
I'm saying
telling you,
we're still first. Everybody can agree with me that Arsenal is still first. Right? You can agree with Arsenal is still first. We're still a goal better, and City still has to win all the matches.
City has a game at hand.
Yes, but they still need to win it.
they still win all the games.
Win it is not.
I'm saying as we speak.
At this point, City is not losing a game.
I'm not opposing that. What I'm saying as we speak now.
The Guardiola we know that we have watched for years. This is not the time for Guardiola.
The thing is, you're going away from the fact that Arsenal are the top of the Premier League.
As he said, it's not the top of the Premier League. That's a good question.
And the person who seconds them has a game in hand.
No, but even with that game in hand, if they win that game in hand, there'll still be it depends on how.
No, the thing is, it's a one goal difference, and if City wins. City, if we have like an equal goal difference, you're going to look at a head to head. City, we have one draw and one win. So City.
The bottling is on there.
No, it has been on ever since. we keep telling them.
Let's see how it's going to be.
The year I gave up on these guys was the year they failed to win the league against Leicester City. That year, you didn't have United to compare with.
You didn't have Chelsea
to compare. You didn't have Chelsea to compare.
You had Leicester.
You had Leicester, and you could not do the single easiest job from a team that just came from
Jimmy Vardy did
championship. It's a mentality thing of the club. It's not just about it.
No, they are comfortable being second. That's a fact.
Okay, I would probably my last words. I would say that it's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to hand the league over to you when you haven't won it for more than 20 years.
He just handed it over to City.
You have to fight for it.
You have to fight. You have to do everything to get it. You understand? It's not. I don't blame the players because I don't want to sit here and knock these players that have given me joy, have given me good nights to sit and rejoice and all of that. You know, at this point, they need me personally to be behind them. Do I think Arsenal will win everything? I would not sit here and say 100%. I'm sure, but when I look at the team that has been playing good and I see that they are still giving it their all. The only thing I can say here is I will be behind my team, behind my club, behind my manager, 100%. In good, bad times, I will be there. That's a love for the game.
I'm glad you said that. I want to give a shout out to the Kansas City veterans. We played a game yesterday against the veterans of Omaha. Although we lost that game, and one of our panelists here was the midfielder, and I think he was the reason why we lost that game. And he happens to be a Chelsea fan as well. So when I'm playing in a team where I'm surrounded by a lot of Arsenal and Chelsea fans, I'm always very skeptical because they don't have the DNA of winning. Manchester United hasn't won for a while, but we are the team that knows how to win. So Arsenal should be scared that Manchester United is coming. It's coming back.
How come you doesn't have a DNA of winning?
Of winning a very small trophy. Since Mourinho left, what have you won? I think he won
the Champions League.
Yes, accidentally won the Champions League. That was an accidental win.
Who did you win against? Against City?
Yes, but it was an accidental win.
Jesus.
You didn't start the season that day knowing you were going to be playing the.
That's what you had in mind. We went in for that. We went in for the competition with the notion of winning it, and that we got. Talking about yesterday's game, the KC and the Omaha veterans, it was a good game though. I played alongside him on the midfield. We didn't have a strike. You saw all. I did all I could do. I gave our strikers were so horrible.
Look at the image of Arsenal strikers.
That is the Kia syndrome. My strikers, he has a Kia syndrome. We did all we could do, but we ended up conceding 2-1.
So that's at least you learned, and then you'll be able to next time, to perform better. That's the best thing if you can see that all the football knowledge we want to gain and all of this, because when we're in a setting like this and we want to talk about football, we might not have all the experiences, but then we can showcase the little knowledge we have and all of that. So all we can say is that watch out, for these panelists and watch out for this. Because the knowledge we have about the football will be giving you. All you can do is subscribe, like, share to everyone out there. It doesn't take much just to like, to comment.
The second is done.
We'll keep on doing better because we have you guys out there and we have everybody supporting us, and that is it. we don't have all the knowledge, but the knowledge we have, we think
We'll definitely dish it out.
Yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
football fan, this is the kind of talk shows you should tune in every weekend to kind of have a briefing of the weekend.
The weekend games.
We can talk about the leagues all over Europe, right?
Yeah,
We can
Yeah.
talk about the Spanish
The
league,
Spanish
the Italian
league.
league, the
the World Cup is coming.
Let's talk about everything.
And the World Cup is coming in United States, so we'll have it firsthand. We'll have interactions.
yeah.
Can go to the pitch, record, the side, the fans and all of that. So we're watching out for like great content coming up, football, the World Cup, and then we'll keep updating you.
And we'll also try to stay sane because when you bring us an Arsenal against a City and a United fan on one panel, there's always that chance that things can get out of hand. But we'll try to keep it sane.
And keep it very reasonable. And
I trust myself. We don't back out.
but then Arsenal will win the league. Thank you.
What last?